Hey guys, Maxis here. Today I want to do a little video of the closed beta for Ghost Recon Wildlands. For reference, I'm playing on Xbox One, so the graphics aren't going to be quite as amazing as they are on... I say amazing, they're not actually that amazing. But they're not going to be as good as they are on PC, and I imagine also the same for PS4. Quickly, I want to talk about the handling of the vehicles. In this clip, I don't actually have a lot of... footage of the handling of vehicles, but you can see from this van that it's like the physics of the handling, it's not, the physics of the vehicles are pretty terrible. The biggest problem I find is the overcorrecting, and you end up going off cliffs and stuff. On the motorbikes it's a lot better, but still you find yourself losing control quite often. But as you'll see a little bit later on, helicopters, you actually, once you get the hang of flying the helicopters, they're actually much easier than I thought they were going to be. But yeah, just quickly looking at the map there, just a quick snap. I think there's another one later on, but I wanted to talk about the skills system. So as you can see, the four green emblems up there, they're the supplies, and you saw me tagging them just before. So you'll see them in areas where there's enemies. And what they do is you collect them over time, and I think a lot of side missions, or all side missions for that matter, give you bonus supplies. So there's comms, food, and others. I can't remember what the other two are. But to unlock these different skills that I'm going through right now, you need skill points and one of those supplies. Possibly you have to use multiple supplies later on. It's just, as you can see, I've got a fair few of the skills available, but there's still some that I can't get at because at the time I was only level 7. I think I get to level 8 in this video actually, but yeah, they unlock at level 16, I believe, those ones. So yeah, it's a little bit hard to tell what's going to be happening just yet with those. I don't know how the whole system is going to work, and I don't know if they're going to be like, I'm not sure whether it's a percentage bonus for each of the slots on the skills, because you can see that there's different slots on each skill. Some have 2, some have 1, some only have 1 slot, in which case once you've unlocked it entirely. But yeah, I really actually quite like the fact that you have to get supplies as well as skill points, and when you get intel from the middle of missions, there's little intel things, collectibles. There's one where you unlock, or it marks a bunch of skill points that you can just go and collect on the map. You can just fly to them, kill any enemies that are around, but there's never many, and then just yeah, pick them up. Next, I want to talk about the weaponsmith. It is actually, or the gunsmith, I should say. It's actually really fun to play around with once you start unlocking parts for different weapons. And I'm pretty sure that they unlocked by use. So I've been using this gun. That I can't remember what that gun's called. But I had been using that gun, and I kept unlocking parts for that gun and not necessarily other guns. So I think it is to do with the fact that I had been using that gun. Also, of course, you've got the paints, which none of them are super exciting. They're actually more tactical. So the thing is that putting different camo on your gun for different places in the map doesn't actually affect how easy it is for enemies to see you. So it's really just a choice thing. You can choose whatever color you want. You're not going to be seen easier or less likely to be seen either way. And also, one thing that I noticed just when I was actually recording this is you can actually reset the wear on your weapon. So as you use a weapon more and more, it gets worn, the paint on it gets worn, and you can see that it's got scratches all over it, but you can actually reset that, which is really cool. But it means that as you use a gun, it actually wears, and it's really cool. Next, I want to go into the character smith. I can't remember what it's actually called specifically, but there's a fair few options. It's better than the Division, I can say that much, and the fact that they actually have tattoos that you can see rather than just tiny little neck tattoos that get covered up as soon as you put a scarf on. Fucking Division. I don't know. I love it, but yeah, so good lot of tattoos, and there's actually unlocks that you can get for defeating certain bosses, which I found pretty cool. next, I believe, I'm just going to quickly... I'm going to leave you on this clip, and you can see the way that the stealth works. Two things I want to talk about really quickly. When I first started playing the beta, which was on Friday night at 7 p.m. In Western Australia, for anyone who is playing in Western Australia, it did start at 7 p.m. and I'm pretty damn sure that it finishes at 7 p.m. on Monday, the 6th of February, which is when I'm actually recording this. That's why I'm doing it now, because I forgot that the beta was actually going to be closing. Two things that I really was thinking maybe I won't get the game because of these two things, and they're both to do with the way that the game, the way that the camera works and the way that the aiming works. When I first saw gameplay of this game, I saw people aiming down the sights, and it was going from third person when you're just running around to first person shooting, and I was thinking, it's a really sharp snap, and it doesn't look that great. But what I did find out once I started playing the beta is that they have included a fix, because so many people were talking about how terrible that snap from third to first person shooting is. What they've done is put a quick toggle for third person shooting or first person shooting, and I think you'll see it pretty soon anyway. And I'm pretty sure on Xbox it is the right stick down. Right stick click. So it's like R3 essentially. And I'm pretty sure it's the same for PS4. I have no idea what it is for PC, sorry, but I'm sure you'll figure it out anyway. It is in the controls for that. The one thing that I didn't see in the controls, which kind of pissed me off, because it is the other big thing that really pissed me off about the game, and especially the beta when I first started playing it before I found out how to change it, is when you're walking around, it doesn't really choose the right shoulder when you're walking around, that you're looking over, that is, because that is one of the big things with third-person shooter games, is you have to be looking over the right shoulder to be comfortable shooting. And when I say right, I mean correct shoulder. Because I play the Division a lot, I can in the Division you can choose which shoulder you're looking over, and it's not the same button in this. It is right bumper for Xbox One, and I imagine it's then R1 for PlayStation 4. Sorry, once again, I don't know what it is for PC, because if you're playing with an Xbox controller on PC, then I am sure it is bumper. But yeah, I am glad that they actually set it so that you can switch shoulder, because if you couldn't, I would be extraordinarily pissed off about that, because not being able to switch shoulder is terrible. And when I did first play through all of the missions and everything in the beta, I was just using whichever shoulder it decided to put me on, and it makes the game a lot more difficult if you're used to being able to choose which shoulder you're using. One thing that I really want to talk about right now, because I'm in combat and I've been spotted, I can see, is the really quick access to removing your suppressor or putting your suppressor back on your guns. So if you equip a suppressor in the gunsmith, you will have a suppressor on that gun. So I'm using an assault rifle, I can't remember what it's called, but my secondary is a sniper rifle. Both of them have suppressors. But if you go into, if you aim, like I just did, like that, you can press up on the D-pad, and I imagine it'll be the same for PS4, like I keep saying, and it will take the suppressor off. So the good thing about that is if you're running around trying to be stealthy, well, I shouldn't say running, because usually when you're being stealthy, you don't want to run too much. When you're moving around trying to be stealthy, you want the suppressor on, obviously, and you can still kill people pretty easily if you've got it on the normal setting. Normal difficulty setting, you can kill people pretty easily. But if you've got it on, if you get spotted, then you may as well take it off, because it will then do more damage. But quickly, I want to talk about the helicopter handling. This is actually the hardest helicopter to handle. The bigger helicopters are easier to handle. What I've discovered is that if you dive while pressing holding the right trigger, you will dive really hard. But if you dive hard and then let go of the left stick, which is making you dive, holding the right trigger, which is meant to make you ascend, will actually just keep you going straight, like I was just then. And I've found that landing and taking off is actually pretty easy, and there's not too much in the way of clipping. Like when you try and land near some rocks, most of the time the blades won't break or make the helicopter explode or anything stupid like that, which is more accurate, obviously, but it is quite irritating because if you go halfway across the map in a shitty car that doesn't handle properly, just to get a helicopter, and then you crash your helicopter, and well, you don't even crash it, you just have one of the blades clip a rock, you're fucked. But it doesn't actually do that, which is I actually quite like. Also, I want to quickly talk about the drone. The drone has a dedicated skill tree, I should say. I really suggest that upgrading the drone is it's great to upgrade. Most of the upgrades do cost quite a bit of supplies and the normal amount of skill points. But it is really worth it because you can see sometimes, like before you upgrade it, you pretty much have to put the little dot in the middle right on enemies for them to be tagged. But once you upgrade it, it'll go, and you can upgrade it multiple times to be more sensitive to picking up people. So you don't have to have the dot right on them anymore to actually tag them. Sniping's great. It's pretty much one hit kill. This is like the weakest sniper in the game. And yeah, it's one hit kill as long as you hit them the first time. And if you do miss them, they will know where you are instantly. So really try and get them first shot. I think in a second I'm going to be trying out the sync shot. And not with too many people. That's the one thing that I was a bit surprised about when I started playing the beta, is the sync shots in any of the gameplay that Ubisoft put out. You've got all three AIs doing sync shots. When you first start playing the game, you will only be allowed to use one marker like that. I do actually have multiple markers, but there's only 2 people there, so there was not much point. But through the skill trees, you can get more and more markers so that you end up being able to use all 3 of your AI teammates to take out 4 enemies at once. Also, there is a button to engage, so you don't have to shoot any of them. If you mark 2 enemies, there's only 2 enemies there. You can actually press A on Xbox. It'll carry across. And it will engage, or hold A, I should say, and it will engage, and then your AI teammate will actually shoot the marked target. But for the most part, it's best to mark someone, and then as soon as your teammate says that they're ready, you can shoot the other person that is near them that you haven't marked, and then your AI teammate will actually take out the other person. One thing that I did notice about the game, which is what I've actually done here, is reset the missions. And I don't know if that's a beta thing or if it's going to be in the main game. If it is, that's pretty cool, being able to reset missions, because maybe you want to retry it, maybe you want to do it stealthy. You don't get achievements for doing them stealthily, but it's kind of nice. I think one thing about this game that people really need to realize is that sure, it doesn't have a great storyline. It kind of has a storyline. It kind of almost doesn't have a storyline though, so it's a bit ooh. But yeah, something people really need to realize is that yes, it has a pretty poor storyline, but if you love stealth warfare games, it's not really warfare, but if you love stealth shooting in games like Far Cry 3, 4, kind of Primal. It's a bit hard not to be stealthy in Primal because none of your guns make noise because you don't have guns. That kind of thing where you're trying to be as stealthy as possible and you want to get through the whole thing and be stealthy, which is my favorite kind of game, where I can actually play the game stealthily and I don't have to do much in the way of, oh, you have to run in here and kill these people with a rocket launcher and let everybody know that you're here. If it lets you play stealthily, it's awesome. And this game really delivers when it comes to stealth. It's pretty easy to be spotted, I can tell you that much, but the fact that you can chuck a drone out there, tag as many enemies as you see, or as many enemies as you can while your drone battery lasts, it's pretty accurate drone battery, actually. Most drones these days do run out in about, I don't know, 40 seconds, which is what it does in the game. So that's good. It's accurate. I think that's the most accurate thing in the game so far. Yeah, if you want to do that, then you can, and it really delivers in the stealth options. I think one thing that isn't going to be in this, like, you won't be able to see in this video, that is a little bit of a problem for me and a lot of people so far, is that the enemies, the big bosses I should say, aren't actually hard to kill. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you think Division, they've got a million, billion fucking too much in the way of health, and it takes you half an hour to kill one, kill one of the enemies. And while yes, that provides a challenge, it's kind of nice to be able to just walk up to an enemy, a big boss, and just shoot them. Now, quickly, I've just forgotten about the little bit here. What I did was get killed on purpose so that you could see how long it takes the AI teammates to heal you. It is terrible, but I guess it kind of provides a challenge. One thing is, if you are down and there is 50 enemies around you, they won't actually come and get you until they've taken out any enemies that are actually going to hurt them, which is good. Because if they just ran out like they do in Payday 2, it's just a little bit dodgy. But there is a time limit. As soon as you get past that time limit and they haven't healed you, you will get game over and you'll have to restart in it. It won't take you too far away from the mission that you were just doing or the area that you were just at, but it will reset enemies and such. But you can, in the skill trees, upgrade increase the speed that that your AI teammates heal you, but I don't think that that's to do with the fact that they have to run to you. I think it's more the bit where they actually get to you and they stab you with whatever kind of adrenaline needle it is that they stab you with. I think it's that actually upgrades in speed, not the amount of time that they run to you. So yeah, I think that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the little clips. I hope that I've given you enough detail. Just a quick look into the menus here. One thing is, in the menus in-game, you can't change whether you have subtitles on or off. You have to do it in the main menu before you enter the game, just so you know, because when I first started playing, I didn't have subtitles, and it kind of pissed me off because I had my game turned down, and it made it terrible. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that my opinions aren't too terrible, and I will be getting Ghost Recon Wildlands when it comes out on March 7th, day before my birthday. That'll be sick. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.